Hello there everybody and welcome to Map the Dragon Railways, and today in this video I'm going to be working on this, a Lima small Prairie, a 4575, and this one's numbered 4577. So I was given this by someone at the Somerset Railway just to work on for them and get it running nicely. It already runs, and after a quick, warm up, it does run fairly well now. But I'm going to give it a service anyway, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. Other things it needs doing is a general clean of the body and the front coupling straightening, so I'll get onto that in a bit. So yeah, without further ado, let's take this down onto a workbench and pull it apart and give it a nice service. So here we have it, the small Prairie, and you can have a bit of a look there to see what it's like. Its base keeper plate has been replaced at some point with this rather unusual pickup setting, you know. That's definitely been later done. This loco's definitely been repainted, you can see, and when I tilt it at an angle against the light I can see an old crest in the centre. Real coal's been added. I think this safety valve bonnet's been painted. The rods have had some work, the slide bars have been painted black. On the back, one of the moulded lamps have been removed. But yeah, there is some nice detail on this model actually, and here I've actually got a Bachmann one, and you can see the proportions are very, very close. The only difference, well, there are a few differences, but they're nothing major, like the safety valve bonnet and maybe the cab size. But do you know what? It's only minor. So these are great budget locos really, the Lima ones. If you can pick one up for about £20 to £30, that would be a very good deal for one of these. And this one already runs fairly well. The Bachmann one you can expect to pay second hand £50 to probably about £75 for one of these, in a good condition. But yeah, like I say, one of these is probably better if you're on a budget. So the first job I'm going to do is tackle this coupling, because it will only take a few seconds, and all I'm going to do is get a plier and just straighten it, and I'll just try and get it to a point where it's nice. And there we go, that's one job already ticked off. Now on the back, I do not know how to remove the body off one of these yet, so I'm going to have to find out for myself. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove the front pony truck, because I do remember, at least with my 94XX, which was produced by Lima, the screw come out through the front. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to quickly dislodge the old pickup. There we go. And it looks to have this little bit of whatever there, so I'll just put that aside as well. And I've been greeted by a screw down here, so I'm just gonna unscrew it, if I can line it up. Come on, there we go. Is it out yet? No. So yeah, this must imply that this is a body screw, because it's quite a long one. There we go, that one's out. Right, so the front one is out, it's just this back one now. And he doesn't seem to like me. I've just been spinning him, but he doesn't seem to want to stop spinning. Oh, hang on, it's come out. Yeah, it was part of the body. He hasn't dropped out though. There we go. So that's the pony truck screw. Those are the body screws, which I shall temporarily put with the body. And we're greeted by the chassis, so you've got this nice heavy block, heavy weight in there. Is there any way that will fish out now? I don't think so. It's a bit of a loose fit, isn't it? But I say loose, it's wobbly, but it's actually quite secure. Having a quick general look at this model, it looks okay, and yeah, I just think a general cleanup will do this model good. So first I'm going to off camera clean this body, and the trick I use is basically I will get a toothbrush with a bit of hand soap on it and just scrub it gently, trying not to dislodge any of the details, which being more of the basic model, due to its age, it's easier to do. And then just with some warm water dry it off, and then leave it out to dry. This cab roof is a little bit wobbly, so I might just dab a tiny bit of glue in the top, just to hold it in place a bit more securely, but again I shall do that off camera. Right, so I had a quick scrub with that, and that's now in a window to dry, and yeah, it's come out quite nice actually. It was already quite clean, it was mostly around the running plate around the front, but like I say, it's much nicer now. And it's time we take a look at the motor. I'm not going to delve deep into, you know, mucking about with all these pickups, because they seem fairly reliable, and I think it's quite interesting actually, but yeah, I don't want to tinker about with any of that, because let's be honest, it works fine. So yeah, it's the motor that I'm going to work on, and I think I'm going to come round to this side here, and there's a little clip, and I need to dislodge that and slide it out. So there we go. There's a tiny little bearing on there with a cog. The bearing is removable, so I'm going to be careful with that. And then there's another little cog, and then you've got the cog on the wheel, which I will not worry about. And the next thing to do then is get a cotton bud, some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to clean the thing. Just give it a nice, fairly thorough clean, just rubbing over, because it has a bit of grime all around it. So yeah, this can be from old oil or grease, or just general dirt that's got in, like dust, and yeah, especially dust mixing with oil, that's an awful thing, and you might be able to make out the cotton bud's already black. So let's just keep doing that. Make sure the job is fairly thorough. There's some clumps on this one, clumps of dirt, but yeah, like I say, just give it a nice clean up and make it look better than it was originally. So I'll come back when that's done. Right, I'm happy with that. The cog inside's a bit mucky, but I can get to that when I get to the other side. So what's next is to clean these cogs. So just have them in my hand, and with a bit of IPA again, just go over him, and this shouldn't take too long. It's only a very simple job to do, and be careful with that bearing. I don't want to lose it. I don't know if this is in shot what I'm doing now. Basically just holding the gear down and rubbing it with this cotton bud soaked in isopropyl alcohol. Now, as you can see, I'm getting my workspace mucky. I recommend you do this on a towel. Towels are quite popular because any dirt that accumulates on them, you can very easily sort out, because you can just chuck a towel in a washing machine. Other tricks is put paper down, or use one of the cutting mats I normally do. My cutting mat's currently occupied, so I'm doing it straight on here. This will wipe off, you know. But yeah, and also that IPA is 99.9% pure alcohol, so you don't really want any less than that. And I'm just gonna clean up this little component, because that had a bit of grime on it, and yeah, that's nice and clean now. So the next thing to do is reassemble this little bit. So just push the little gear in, then put the big gear in place, which might be a bit more fiddly because I've got to line it all up properly with the gear in the motor. There we go. Get that little bearing washer thing back in its home, if I can. Yep. And put this clip back in, and it's as simple as that. So I'll just slide that in. Might need help from Mr. Screwdriver just to lift the clip. That washer's got stuck on my finger naturally. Just pushing it, pushing, lift it. Just gonna fiddle about and tinker until it's in its right place, which is, I think, oh, I've overshot it. Yeah, this can be a little bit fiddly, but isn't a lot of things in model railways quite fiddly? And that's in. Yes, I believe so. Yep, that's in. I'm happy with that. So it's time to tend with the other side, and it looks like I'm on my last few drops of isopropyl alcohol. That's fine, I've got another bottle that's been waiting about 3 months to seek use. So I'm next going to get to these brushes which are under these bits of brass. And I've got to be careful because of the springs. Now you don't want to lose the springs. Springs are very, very easy to lose with these models. The brushes just come out halfway and then you drop back in. Sometimes the brushes come out with the spring, sometimes they do not. Yeah, both of these have dropped down but was initially picked up. So I might be able to get them out by tipping them upside down and gently tapping. Well, that's got one out and the other one's trying to come out. If it doesn't work, then it's fine. It might be that there's a blob of solder that's covering the hole a bit. So yeah, that doesn't matter for now, that can wait. I just need to undo this front face and I'll be greeted by that brush anyway. And removing this part is what I'm about to do. So there's just a couple of screws that I just need to undo. Not massive screws, not on long threads. So that's nice. This is what I like compared to modern locos. Modern locos you can't get to the commutators and brushes without doing some annoying sort of procedures. So yeah, it's always nice when you can do this. I'm just going to slide that out. The brush is there, so I'll just put that there, and there's your commutator. This nice shiny bit here. Well, it's not as shiny as it should be, it's a little bit grimy, but we'll tend to that. So I'm just going to get a couple bits and pieces and then we'll get on to that. Right, I got me bits and pieces, some cotton buds and that. I'm just going to lift the commutator out, and there's that gear I was on about earlier, which is on the end here. And even these wires actually have a bit of grime on them, so I'm just wiping that off with my fingers. But yeah, that's your wonderful little commutator. And the trick with this is, yet again, more isopropyl alcohol soaked by cotton bud, and just going over it and cleaning it. And you can see already this is black, so this will probably take me a few going over and then it should be fine. Sometimes a trick is to use a Dremel. I sometimes use that, but I don't think I will for this. It would bring it up really fresh, but like I say, I think I'll avoid doing that today, just for the sake of, well, I don't need to do it. It already runs, so we'll just give it a clean. And it's already coming out fairly nicely. Just blackening the cotton buds but cleaning the commutator. And yeah, it's coming out alright. Again, we're getting all these black cotton buds. I think I'm literally on the last very drop of this isopropanol now. Yeah, so I'm on to the fresh stuff in a minute. And just like I say, cleaning it up, making it nice, make it all shiny, and hopefully this will heavily improve the performance of this loco. At least it should do in theory. Right, I'm going to keep going with the commutator, but another trick just before I go and crack ahead with this is using a pin for, you know, sewing and that, and going in the slots. It's my trick for the trying stuff as well, with the XO4 motor and the Ringfield, I think, actually. And just use the needle to scrape in the slots and dislodge any muck. So yeah, this commutator is not far apart from being actually all cleaned up, but like I say, I'll just do that off camera quickly and I'll get back to you. Right, this commutator is nice and clean now, so it's a simple job of slotting it in, and it goes in fairly easily actually, thanks to a magnet that circles around the commutator. So that should be in, and yeah, it's all interlocked to the cog on the other side with the other cogs, so that's good. I think the next stage is to fit this casing back over the motor, which is very simple, and I just need to make sure the holes are well lined up, which I believe they are, and do up these screws to a nice standard. Don't want them too loose, do we? So we do that up like so, nearly there. Just make it a bit tighter, a bit tighter there. Is that all nice? I think it is. I'll just give it a couple more turns each side just for luck. And there we go, that's that bit done. So our next bit to look at are these brushes. So the brushes put down the power onto the commutator. So again, these are fairly important. So I'm just going to take the lid off my isopropanol, which is very full now. So I better be careful with it. I actually might have brimmed it when filling up and filled it up a bit too much. So that was a little accident I had, but you know, accidents happen. So I'm just holding the brush and the cotton bud and just moving the brush up and down, just cleaning up that face, because that's what it needs. And after a black cotton bud, that's fine, nice and clean. I'll pop it down into the hole in there and I shall say au revoir to that. And then I just need to go to the next one, which again, IPA in the bottle. The reason I keep doing up the lid is because of how full this bottle now is. So I'm going to have to be cautious for probably a month or two when servicing locos now. But oh well, it happens. So this one was actually a lot filthier than the other. Yeah, definitely. So I'm just gonna pop that one down in that hole as well. In the other one, you don't want two brushes in the one hole. So that brush is in, so now it's time to be very scared and careful with the springs. I do believe I have a fresh set somewhere if I did lose them, but it's always best if you do not lose them. And I'm just going to use a screwdriver just to push him down a little bit more, because we need to make sure that the brush is touching the commutator, otherwise the power will not go to it, which we need the power. And with the other brush, it was what I said, the solder was in the way by a fraction. So what I done was I got a little screwdriver to it. This, the one I'm using now actually, just scraped it a little bit just to remove a little bit on it. And yeah, that's all assembled now. So I think I'm going to quickly clean the wheels, seeing as we've got the you know, the body off and that. So that's again the isopropyl alcohol. Soak it up with the cotton bud, put the lid on like so, and just clean the wheels. And yeah, these wheels are a bit dirty, but that is to be 100% expected for a loco. So this servicing procedure is meant to be done every 6 months or year. That's the way it should be. But at the same time, it can depend on how much you run your models. If you only run them once a year, it's you know, well, it might be worth doing it because of stuff drying up actually, but you know, if you ran a loco every day for 6 months, it will definitely want a service. But if you ran it, you know, a couple times in the past 6 months, you know, it's not going to hurt it. You might just want to do it after a year. So just cleaning up this pony truck set of wheels here, seeing as they're not attached, and this one I've already done these, I think. So that's a cotton bud aside, and I think we're back onto assembly. So I'll quickly go and retrieve the body and hope it is dry. Right, so here you can see I've retrieved the body. It's only a little bit damp around the chimney and smoke box, so that won't hurt. This has got a bit of weight to it because it's actually got a weight in the bunker, which is quite good. It's held in by a couple of screws. But yeah, I'm going to see to this roof. I know the owner didn't ask me about the roof, but I think it would be nice to have it a bit more secure than it is already. So I'm just getting a little tiny blob of poly cement on the end of a bit of wire, and I'm just going to lob it in. Right, after that I've done a little bit more progress on it, just gluing that roof down a bit better, and it should, when it dries, be much more secure. And in the time of doing that, the water's dried up from around the smoke box, so that's alright. So I think the next thing to do is to put the body back on. Now I like doing this, but I can't recommend doing it as such, putting the body straight on after, you know, fiddling about, because there is a slight chance that the model might not work. So it's normally best if you do not put the body on, but for the purposes of filming and all of that, I'm gonna do it because I can. It just spins forever but doesn't seem to go anywhere, so I don't know if it's just not effective anymore. So I'm just going to drop this large one in the front. Yeah, if you look at it now, it's very unusual pickups, isn't it? It's all been soldered and with copper and all that. It looks quite, well, partially complex because this has been designed to pick up electricity from the top of the wheels, well, more, how would you put it, northwest as such of a wheel, and northeast. But yeah, it's quite unusual, more up the top sort of thing than down the bottom on the sides of the, you know, normally pick up on the flanges as it actually picks up on the wheel itself, which is something a bit different to normal. So I'm going to assemble the bogie now. So that's a matter of put that on, whatever that does. Probably something electrical, to be honest. And get the screw, which I did drop, didn't I? Probably not the greatest idea to try and do it with your fingers, but it's good to have it held in place for when you get the screwdriver, you know, out doing your job. Yeah, and that's in place. All I need to do is adjust this unusual pickup, which is on this model, which is one of the system, and that's all it was. It was just flick it behind the wheel. And there we go. That is a serviced small Prairie. I've, like I say, given it a nice strip down, cleaned the motor out and assemble it, straightened the coupling out and fitted a body. And yeah, that's quite good. One thing I've just realised I forgot though is to oil all the gears, but that doesn't matter because I can do that from here, because I can access the gears from in here and on this rear wheel. And then we need a drop of oil on each of the crank pins, the slide bar and that, so that's fine. And do it on the other side. I hate this oiler. It's not a very nice oiler, but it's done the job. There we go. So yeah, that was a few moment really, wasn't it? So that's all assembled now and oiled and that. So yeah, now it is done. Sorry. But yeah, here it is done and ready to put on the layout. And like I say, you can see the proportions of it. Very, very close to the Bachmann, considering Lima was sometimes known for having their locas a little bit out of scale. So, do you know what? I think that's quite nice. So let's put it down on the layout. Couple it up to, funnily enough, 3 LNER teaks with a Great Western engine. They're just what are down on the layout at the moment. And have a quick run around, make sure it all works fine, and then I'll end the video. Here we have the Prairie down on the rudder bay, and it's looking quite nice, isn't it? Nice and clean, straight coupling and that. But does it run? So I'm going to put it in forwards, ease up, that's on 20, 25, 30, I hit to 40 and it's off. And do you know what? That is actually noticeably better than what it was. There we go. Needed a nudge then. But yeah, it's noticeably a better runner. It's off the track, I think. No, it's noticeably a better runner than what it was. So after, I think, a bit of a run-in, a warm-up, I think that'll run better as well. So, 3 teaks. Just quite happy pulling that. Apparently the owner told this person, the owner of this model, was told by the previous owner to him that it couldn't pull anything, but it's managed to pull these 3 teaks quite fine, and Roger Bay has some steep hills, so, you know, I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah, there it is, running quite happily. I'll just pick up the camera. You can see quite happily trundling along. And you know what? It's a lovely little thing. It's so very pleasant, you know. I think the work on it that's been done is quite interesting, especially those pickups, but scenic-wise, having the real coal and a repaint. I really think it suits this Great Western livery. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, comment down below. Would you like to see more videos like this where I work on locomotives, maybe bring them back from the dead, and other things like that? Or even just say hello, share this video with your friends. Sharing is caring, gets the channel out there. And definitely please consider subscribing to the channel. It means a lot, helps the channel to grow, and it shows off your support greatly. And if you press the bell icon, it means you will never miss a video of mine that comes out. So yep, that's it for now, and I shall see you next time. Cheerio for now.